Thank you for joining me on Nuggets of Wisdom. I am Charles Musekanda. I appreciate you taking the time to grow and to mature as we edify one another on this February 2023 Black History Month. I coined my own phrase, Black Altitude Elevation, because it's important for the Black child to elevate their altitude. And we use historical Black events to grow and to mature to better ourselves today and for generations to follow. And so today we're going to talk about sex. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about sex, baby. hmm There's that, what's that song go? Push it, push it, push it, baby. Well, before you push it now, before you push it, baby, just hang tight. Hang tight. 1 second. Uh, and let's begin this way. 1932 to 1972, the American government had an experiment on a group of black men. And, with systemic racism, intentionally injected syphilis into these men, let them loose into their communities where they would copulate with their wives and, sexual partners. Whilst the government is looking to see the effects and how long these men would survive the disease untreated, all the while, unbeknown to these men, they're spreading the disease in the community, affecting innocent wives, innocent women, and subsequently children also born into this chaos, into this hazardous environment. And that was the government doing that. It was a system in place, put in place to decimate the black community. Today, there's another system that's very subtle, but also takes advantage of and at times catalyzes that decimation in the black community and stifles our growth. But unfortunately, we as the people are injecting ourselves, infecting ourselves with a disease. And let me explain. Statistics say black children are more likely to grow in a single parent household in America alone. 64% of black children are most likely to live in a single parent household, meaning that there are children there who had procreated somewhere in the back of an automobile, somewhere in the club, in the VIP section, somewhere, one night stand, somewhere. And there's those who are also procreated when it just felt good, but mom and dad can't stand each other thereafter. Which means there's more separation among black men and women than there are families coming together. And that's a disease. It's a chronic pandemic that we have in our community. And now that subtle system that I just mentioned is what we call the courts system, the family court. While it's in place to protect the vulnerable, women, children, usually, it's also in place to make sure that they maximize on our chaos. They maximize on our chaos, and they'll catalyze and throw wrenches into the system, spanners into the system, to see to it that we continue to fight and divide ourselves through sex. And so as we talk about Black Altitude Elevation in this Black History Month, let's remember what took place in Tuskegee and how that affected the black community. That came through sexual contact. And through sexual contact today, we have children who are growing up not knowing their fathers, not knowing their mothers at times. Or if they do know both of them, oftentimes they know that mom and dad don't talk. And so we have children who grow with this emotional imbalance, a lack of emotional intelligence, disturbed mental state, angry people, lazy people, people that want nothing to do with coming together with other people because they don't understand or don't trust the coming together of people, because where they are raised, born, raised, and bred, there's no coming together. There's always chaos and fighting. 64% of the American black child is most likely to be raised in a single parent household. Still want to push it, baby? Still want to push it? Well, if you do, push it responsibly. If you do, make some emotional investment. Let your affection and intimacy be founded on something deeper than just outside appearance. We're really good at having, these sex symbols, sexy, presentations of oneself. The law of attraction, wanting always to be attractive and yet not able to keep what we attract. That's a problem, my people. That's a big problem. Look at Instagram. It's full of beautiful models. But truth be told, you find that those models are modeling more of their curves in their body than they are modeling the clothing. Look at how we spend. We spend on luxury automobiles, luxury clothing. We want to buy houses in affluent neighborhoods. Why? Because it's all to do with a sex symbol. It's all to do with looking good, looking attractive. But if only we could master the art of keeping that which we want to attract, knowing how to talk and to negotiate our differences, knowing how to agree to disagree, knowing how to love beyond our faults, and knowing how to be content and to love ourselves as a people. And I want to close with this. Like I said, this is a nugget, but this is a big subject. And I could go on and on, but I have to keep it as a nugget because this channel is founded on, the premise of keeping it as a nugget of wisdom. And you can go on and study further, or you can comment, ask questions, add at your own, time, and we can grow and mature together. But before I close, I just want to read something. And that's from Psalm 127, verse 3 and verse 5, mostly. Verse 3 and verse 5. You can read the whole chapter, very short, beautiful chapter, but I'm going to zone in on verse 3. And verse 3 and verse 5 of Psalm 127 read. Verse 3 says, "Behold, children are a heritage of the Lord." A heritage of the Lord, okay? "And the fruit of the womb is his reward." Oftentimes, these children are not considered as a reward. Oftentimes, these children are coming into this world not necessarily as a fruit. They're unwanted, unplanned. And as a matter of fact, that leads me to another statistic. More than 20 million children are aborted in the black community alone per year. Look at how we're killing off ourselves, decimating our own selves. But for abortion to happen, how did that happen? How did that come to be? It came through sex. Immediate pleasure with undesirable results. Irresponsible pleasure. Non-committal pleasure. And the Bible says children are a reward. Are they really? Are they really, with all these abortions that are taking place? Verse 5 says, "Happy is the man who has his quiver," meaning his bosom, his pocket, "who has his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed." And I'll stop there. That's not the whole verse, but I'll stop there. And it says, happy is the man whose quiver is full of children. But that doesn't mean spreading children everywhere. Children that you don't know of. Children that you want nothing to do with. That man certainly is not happy, because I'll tell you, that system, that court system, is waiting for you. Waiting to garnish your wage. The mothers of those children are waiting for their child support and waiting to make sure that your development, your financial growth is decimated because of your irresponsible act. And this is not just targeted at men. I'm not just talking to men. I'm talking to our sisters. I'm talking to the women as well. We're a community together. We come together to build and to create a stronger Black community. But are they really a blessing in our quiver, or are they more of a curse? The ending part of that verse, verse 5 says, those who have children shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak with the enemy, even in their gates. What does that mean? It means you have a defense system. You have defenders, you have bodyguards, you have people to look out for you. How many children hate their fathers right now because they don't know who their father is? How many children hate their mothers right now because she's so miserable, she's angry at the father, and she's projecting that anger on the child? How many children hate their parents? How many parents hate their children? And how much more? How much expression can we have? How much more expression of self-hate can we have by not being there for our children? And so if that's the case, do we really look out for each other? Do we really act as bodyguards for one another? Is our community really that strong? Or are we still divided and conquered through sex? Tuskegee experiment divided people and killed off a community, decimated a community through sex. And today, we're just about doing the same thing through sex. And there is a system in place to make sure it takes away from our pockets, it takes away from our peace of mind. Thank you for joining me on Nuggets of Wisdom. Please like, share, please share, subscribe. Let's grow together. Put your comments, questions, debates. Let's grow together. Let's mature as we edify one another. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you for joining me on Nuggets of Wisdom.